Coen brothers-like comedy thriller with perfect score compared to Yellowstone. An underappreciated black comedy film, which has bagged a flawless score, is drawing comparisons to the early works of the Coen brothers and the hit TV show Yellowstone. Leroy, Texas had a quiet release in the US and UK at the start of 2024, but despite the low-key launch, it managed to become one of the top-rated films of the year on Rotten Tomatoes, racking up a perfect 100%. The film is now available for streaming, allowing movie buffs to catch up on one of the most critically acclaimed flicks of the past year. It's currently streaming on Now and Sky Cinema, reports the Daily Record. The film features John Vaccaro, known for his roles in Past Lives, and The Many Saints of Newark, alongside Steve Zahn, recognized for his performances in The White Lotus and War for the Planet of the Apes. In the plot, Ray, played by Vaccaro, needs cash to help his wife kickstart a business, but his private investigator pal Skip, Zahn, suspects she's having an affair. After being mistaken for a hitman and handed a wad of cash, Ray finds himself pursued by the actual killer as he tries to escape town with both the money and his life intact. The film has drawn comparisons to the early work of the Coen brothers, known for iconic films like Fargo and No Country for Old Men. Critics have been quick to point out the similarities, with one reviewer commenting, "Leroy, Texas is full of Coen brothers-style charm, with its dark humor, absurd interludes, and existential middle-of-nowhere location, combined with a solid level of bloody violence and characters you can't help but root for." Another succinctly described it as a zany Coen brothers-like comedy thriller, while another added, "Leroy, Texas channels the Coen brothers in a hilarious black comedy with tragic twists." John Vaccaro, Steve Zahn, and a terrifying Dylan Baker are superb in a film that continually surprises. Leroy, Texas is a must-see. Film enthusiasts also noted the stylistic echoes of the Coen brothers' work in Leroy, Texas. One fan shared their thoughts online, saying, "A modern Western with grit and a dash of dark comedy. Think Southern Fargo without the Minnesota dialect." The actors are spot on for their respective parts. I enjoy the ending, but could be easily convinced it should have been better. A viewer raved, "Loved this movie. Totally unexpected. A great dark comedy. One of my favorites I've seen this year." Another was equally impressed, stating, "Genuinely excellent. Surprisingly good and very Coen brother-like." This odd buddy crime dark comedy really ticks all the boxes and ends as strong as it starts. Yes is absurdly implausible, but it's so much fun you quickly forget about the destination and just enjoy the ride. All the cast are excellent, and the direction and writing truly shine. This film is violent at times, but never gratuitously, and though there is nothing new or unique here, what there is expertly crafted and delivered. The film also drew parallels to a hit TV show, especially because of the wild, cowboy-esque attire donned by Zahn's character. A viewer pointed out, "Fabulous directing. Perfect casting. Outrageous cinematography. Not quite as gruesome as Yellowstone." For those eager to watch the flick, Sky Cinema can be added to their Sky TV package for an extra £10 per month. Or they can opt for No Cinema membership at £6.99 monthly for half a year, or grab an entertainment and cinema combo for £13.99 a month, also for 6 months. The air in Bell Creek, Montana, carried the crisp tang of winter, a perfect setting for trouble. Sheriff Marla Jones, with her coffee cup perpetually half empty and her patience running on fumes, squinted at the horizon. Trouble had a way of finding Bell Creek, much like the way her ex-husband, Roger, always found himself broke after payday. That morning, Trouble arrived in the form of a bright red suitcase, found abandoned in the middle of Hank Blakely's ranch. Hank, a man more paranoid than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, had called it in with his usual dramatics. "Sheriff, it's a bomb, I tell ya," Hank had bellowed over the phone. Or worse. Marla, suppressing an eye roll that could have caused a seismic event, drove out to Hank's property. The suitcase sat there, oddly pristine against the frosted grass. Beside it, Hank paced nervously, clutching a baseball bat like he was auditioning for a remake of The Untouchables. "You poked it yet?" Marla asked, pulling up in her cruiser. "Poke it? Are you nuts? Could blow us all to smithereens," Hank exclaimed. Marla sighed, grabbing a stick from the ground. With the delicate precision of someone disarming an improvised snack pack rather than a potential bomb, she nudged the suitcase open. No explosion followed, but its contents were explosive in another way. Bundles of cash, neatly stacked and rubber-banded, glinted in the pale morning sun. Hank's jaw dropped. Holy Moses, that's a fortune. Marla's cop instincts screamed like a banshee choir. Nothing good ever started with an unclaimed pile of money. The suitcase, now secured at the station, became the talk of the town before Marla even had time to pour herself a fresh cup of coffee. Bell Creek wasn't exactly Vegas. Word spread faster than gossip at a quilting bee. By noon, Roger showed up, uninvited as usual. He leaned against Marla's desk, his grin as smarmy as ever. "Heard you stumbled upon a treasure chest. Always knew you'd strike gold without me, Marla." Marla barely looked up. "And yet you're still here, Roger." Before Roger could respond with a comeback that was surely as dull as his boots, Deputy Gus ambled in, his expression unusually grim. "Sheriff," Gus said, tugging at his hat brim, "we've got a situation. Bob from the diner says a couple of fellas in suits were asking about a missing suitcase. Looked like city types. You know, shifty." Marla's stomach sank. Shifty city types and abandoned money were a recipe for disaster. By evening, the suits arrived in Bell Creek. They parked a sleek black SUV in front of the station, a vehicle so out of place it might as well have had a neon sign reading Trouble. The two men who stepped out wore textbook slick, tailored coats, expensive shoes, and the kind of sunglasses that screamed, "We're not local." Marla met them on the station steps, her hand resting casually on her holstered sidearm. "Can I help you, gentlemen?" The taller of the two, all smiles and fake charm, introduced himself as Mr. Kemp. "Sheriff Jones, I presume. We're here on a private matter. Seems a certain piece of luggage has gone astray." "Can't imagine why you think it'd be here," Marla replied, her voice laced with Montana steel. Kemp's smile widened, but his eyes stayed cold. "Call it a hunch." The second man, shorter and meaner looking, muttered, "Just give us the damn suitcase, lady." Marla didn't flinch. "Unless you've got a claim ticket, boys, that suitcase stays in evidence. You're welcome to fill out some paperwork." The suits exchanged a glance, their charm act slipping. But before they could escalate, Roger strolled out of the station, wearing an expression that Marla instantly recognized as trouble. "Well, hey there," Roger drawled, flashing his most infuriating grin. "You boys wouldn't be talking about my suitcase, would ya?" Marla's jaw tightened. "Roger, don't." "Oh, come on, Marla," Roger continued, ignoring her. "No need to keep secrets. That's my cash you're holding hostage in there." The shorter suit's hand twitched toward his jacket. Marla's fingers brushed her gun, ready. "All right," Kemp said, stepping between them with mock diplomacy. "How about we all stay calm? Sheriff, let's talk inside." Inside the station, the situation devolved faster than a snowstorm on a mountain pass. Kemp and his partner demanded the suitcase, claiming it belonged to a client who'd misplaced it. Roger, shameless as ever, spun a tale about how he'd won the cash in a poker game. A story so flimsy it practically dissolved on contact. Marla, caught in the middle, tried to keep the peace. Unless someone provides proof of ownership, the suitcase stays where it is. End of discussion. Her declaration didn't sit well with anyone. The suits left, but not before Kemp leaned in close and murmured, "This isn't over, Sheriff." Roger, oblivious to the danger he'd invited, stayed put, pestering Marla with harebrained schemes to split the cash. That night, the quiet of Bell Creek shattered. The station's back window exploded in a shower of glass, followed by the hiss of smoke bombs. Marla, already on edge, sprang into action, grabbing her shotgun and shouting for Gus. The suits had returned, and they weren't playing nice anymore. Kemp and his partner, armed and masked, stormed the station, intent on retrieving their loot. But Marla wasn't the type to back down. Using the smoke as cover, she and Gus maneuvered through the chaos, outwitting the intruders at every turn. Roger, surprisingly useful for once, managed to distract Kemp with an impromptu monologue about the ethics of small-town justice. In the end, Marla cornered the shorter suit in the evidence room, her shotgun leveled at his chest. "Drop it," she commanded. The man hesitated but complied, raising his hands. Kemp, realizing the jig was up, surrendered too, muttering curses under his breath.